plaintiff, Kathesha Skull, was married to the defendant, and she claims he's an abusive cheater. Kathesha claims the defendant made multiple sex tapes of him with other women in their bed, and she filed a restraining order against him after he assaulted her. She's suing her ex for breach of contract. Defendant Greg Gaskin says marrying Kathesha was the worst mistake he's ever made. Greg claims Kathesha is a raging alcoholic, and after he filed a restraining order against her, she went to jail for violating it. Greg's countersuing for a security deposit.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
I've known Greg for over 20 years. We didn't start being intimate until 2013. Well, the first day, he has a key made to his apartment for me. Third day, he gives me a used wedding ring saying he wants to get married. So I went with it. It sounds kind of weird, but I went with it. Everything seemed great. When it went to month 3, that's when that other person came out. Okay, he's a liar. He's a cheater.
How did you find out?
I looked on his phone.
And what did you find?
Dirty videotapes with him and other women in our bed.
He took videos.
Yes, and if you look on his phone right now, guaranteed
How old
still
are you?
on.
I hope you didn't do that. Did you do that? Make consensual sex. Did you make consensual sex videos?
Yeah, with her, a lot of them.
How old were you when you did that?
54.
54? You're making naked videos of yourself
Different women,
and your
not
woman.
just one other one, several.
Do you have children?
One son.
Do you have grandchildren?
No.
Do you intend
Yeah, I
to?
do. I do. I have a
You
granddaughter.
do?
Got a
And don't you understand they have access to this? So they can see daddy and granddaddy freaking off on video?
He thinks it's cool. He shows his
Voluntarily?
friends.
Yeah, I know kids do because they're in their 20s and they don't understand the ramifications of their actions in the future.
Yes.
That's my point. These kids, you're not getting jobs. Do you work? Maybe that's the question. Two jobs. See that? Because
Yeah,
you
but
can't
that's
get
where-
one good one.
That's where he
Go
picks
ahead.
up the
Because
women.
the one good one, every one job that's good looks up your internet and finds you naked. And they
That's
don't
where
want to
he
imagine that when you come to the job. They don't want to
That's
imagine
where-
what they done seen.
That's where he picks up all the women he sleeps with because he works in a nightclub.
Let him give some background. Go ahead, sir. Clean yourself up because you looking bad.
Okay, Your Honor, first thing first, I married Kathesha. That was the worst thing I ever did
Why?
in my life.
Why?
She's the biggest cheater.
What type of cheating did you find out about her?
I work directly across the street from where I live. 8 o'clock every night. By 8:10, the guys was coming over.
That's a lie.
I come home.
How do you know?
Oh, because I just walk right home. I walk right home.
That is a lie.
And the
There's a
guys are
guy,
there.
He's in there working out on my weight bench.
That is a lie.
Working on my weight bench.
don't
And then she
believe
says
that.
to me, I'm like, I says nothing. I go upstairs, get my
Let me
thing.
just get that out the
I
way.
don't-
Ma'am, have you ever had a man in the house while he
Yes,
was
that
gone?
lived with
doing
us.
what? Lifting weights?
No, and he was
Doing
way
what?
too skinny. He was living with us.
He was living with you
us.
guys. All right, he was too skinny.
He
and he
was
had a
not
couple
working out
muscles
on,
in my
but
in my
you did a sex tape.
All right,
you
go
did a
ahead.
sex tape on that weight bench.
So, Your Honor,
Go ahead, ma'am. And you tell me why you're suing him.
I'm suing him because even though we were divorced, we still stayed together for about a year and a half after that. And during this time, he would beat me all the time. Mind you, he's a boxer. And I might be little, but you're not gonna just knock me down like that. He put a 5-weight weight in a boxing glove and was hitting me in my face with it and knocked my front teeth out. And I have the dental bill for that, which my mom ended up
Was he
having to pay for.
prosecuted? You didn't
And
prosecute
that
him?
was never paid back either.
You never prosecuted him on it?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay.
Not that one. There's another
there's
one.
another
There's
one?
more. And then I've got all these restraining orders that I put on him. And then his assault where he went to jail for it. I've got these, and then he even duct taped me before he went to work and had his son give me water if I woke up.
Sir, what do you want to say about the woman beaten, the wife beaten?
She's
She
lying.
says you're a wife beater. She provides me with evidence that you're a wife beater. What do you say?
She lying. All that's fabricated. If you look at that closely.
Have you ever been charged?
Yeah, I was charged.
Did you,
Your Honor.
what was the result?
I pled no contest.
The police say that they observed injuries when they came. This one does.
And those were all the restraining orders because he kept
Civil
coming back.
protective order.
Civil protective.
Civil protective order. Go ahead. What's this suit from? The money.
Okay, so we ended up splitting up. I ended up having, even when we split up, it was rocky just because of the situation. But when we weren't in a relationship, it was fine. Every now and then, hey, how you doing? Okay. You know, if he was in a relationship, he would just kind of talk about, oh, I'm seeing this person or whatever. So anyways, I get in a relationship with this man that I've known since 7th grade. Unfortunately, he was selling a lot of narcotics. He ends up going to jail. Mind you, this is like one of the second biggest cases in Anchorage history, okay? So he goes to jail last year on
For how
Mother's
long?
Day. Since he's still in jail. He's been there since Mother's Day.
How long was it sentence?
About 35 years. So he needed a lawyer. So I'm talking to him, and he's saying, well, this is exactly what it was. One of his good friends is a lawyer. And I'm stupid for doing this, though, but he said retain him because he owes me money anyways. And I'm like, okay. So I say, okay, so I gave him $2,000. Okay, mind you, gave him $2,000. The lawyer never showed up to any of these court dates to this day. I said, give me the money back. He said he's not giving me a dime. He said, I owe him. He said, so good luck, what? Do what you got to do.
Owing for what?
I guess made his life hell.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I guess he just got out of jail. He did like 16 years in jail. He just got out. So this happened. So he gets rearrested a few months after he gets out of jail. So we go to his aunt and uncle's house. They write the lawyer a check, and then they sent it to his office.
That's a lie.
They sent it to his office. The aunt and uncle wrote a check to him.
Do you have proof that you paid any of the monies to the lawyer?
No, I gave it to him. I gave it to him. It's his buddy.
You have proof that you did that. How did you do it? Give me the scenario. Where were you all?
At his house.
You went over there?
The lawyer
for
was
what?
there too. The lawyer was there too.
You remember that scenario?
No.
All right. Why'd you all go over to his house?
Because that's where we were going to meet. He said, I'm going to tell. That's his planning.
It's your boyfriend.
Well,
you have to show me some evidence. Counterclaim is for $1,237. Security deposit. How does she owe you for that?
Well, when I got arrested, there was an automatic 20-day restraining order. And the very next day, she moved in a family of heroin addicts. So.
She's trying to get back.
Yeah.
Got to re-up.
So, in this process, she's a raging alcoholic, and every time she gets drunk,
that's a lie.
She goes off on these rants. So she came over where I was staying, demanded my vehicle. She was gonna give my vehicle to a heroin addict. So I run upstairs, I called 911, and then the police came, and then she ended up going to jail that day.
For what?
Violating the restraining order.
Okay.
So the 911 operator told me get a restraining order on her, so I did that. So about a month after that, she violated that restraining order, and she went to jail for a few months. And so me and the owner, we got together. We was like, well, we can't get them out of there. She's out of there, but the people she put in there are still living in there.
Evict them, then what happened?
So we tried to evict them, and it's in the paperwork.
What happened when you tried to evict them?
We got an eviction. We got an eviction done.
Correct.
But they tore the house up and took everything
now
out
you're
of
talking. Let me have your list. Ma'am, what do you want to tell me about this?
If he would not have punched me out, he wouldn't have the restraining order to where he couldn't come to the house.
We went through all the mess.
Right,
Let's
so
get to the
that's why
security
he couldn't.
deposit, ma'am. Ma'am.
Yes,
security
sir.
deposit. What do
Okay.
you want to tell me about that?
There is, he brought a U-Haul there. I'd moved my
Ma'am,
stuff
did you
in.
move people in?
I didn't move anybody in. I
Okay,
let-
you have any evidence that she did, sir? You say the judge gave you a judgment. Obviously, you took it through the legal system and you told the legal system what the problem was and they acted on it. That's how an eviction comes across.
And
You're
that
also
eviction
busy with
was
this mess.
dismissed.
You're not even ready to prove your case.
Here's
You have
the-
0 documents
here's the
to prove
eviction.
yours. You can't find the most important documents out of this eviction. Y'all come in here to look at each other so that you can go and make another movie. Yeah, no games with me. Nobody got time for this.
Okay. That's the eviction.
Here's another one.
And Your Honor, I have a paper too of the eviction, and the eviction was dismissed.
Let's see it. Let me see that, please.
Thank you.
And that was the disposition.
Okay, summons, forcible entry, and detainer. You have provided me with District Court of Anchorage. Court orders. Courts granted. Eviction granted effective May 20 of 2016. Let me see that so we can circle this for and get her on back to Hollywood. Your claim is dismissed. You said that it was never an eviction order. That's exactly what that says. I don't know why you would try and deceive me. I know I wouldn't believe in most of the other stories. That was just puffing or fronting
Okay,
or whatever
no.
reason you was
On
telling
that
me that.
paper
Yeah.
that No, on that paper-
Judgment for the counterclaimant. I see they did cause damage after they were to be evicted, and that's why you are awarded a judgment today. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What you looking me up and down for?
Gross.
Because I'm just no, your is gross. That's why you got an implant in the because it won't work. And I'm pumping your so tell me nasty.
That's what's happening.
That is what's
gross.
happening. That is what's happening.
Plaintiff Nyla Marchand says when she met the defendant, it was love at first sight, and they got married soon after. Nyla claims 3 days after their wedding, she found sexually explicit text messages between the defendant and another woman, and she's suing him today for rent and emotional distress. Defendant Brian Hall says when he met Nyla, he liked what he saw. Brian admits that he left Nyla soon after they got married, but insists they tried to reconcile.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay. Well, I met the defendant in October of 2016 at my brother's birthday party. He was the Uber driver who brought my best friend. And it seemed like it was like love at first sight. It seemed awesome. And the relationship grew very quickly. That following March 5th, he proposed to me at my grandmother's 100th birthday party in front of all my family and friends. And my grandmother knew that she wouldn't make it to my actual wedding date, which would be in the summer. So we decided to get married right away, and she officiated because she's a reverend, and so is my mother's elder. And so my mother and my grandmother did our wedding together at the house.
They're pastors or
My mother's an
ministers?
elder, my grandmother's a preacher,
Okay.
another elder.
All
also.
right.
And my father, too.
No wonder.
But
That's
they
right.
together.
That's when y'all got married so quick. Okay.
Yes. We got married, well, he proposed March 5th. We got married March 23rd. Wow. That was actually the last day my grandmother got out of bed because she was in hospice home care. And 3 weeks later, she passed away. So she did
So
at
you
least
get
get to
married,
see
though?
that. Mm-hmm. She felt like I was happy and taken care of. That summer, we did the big wedding in August. It was August the 13th. And 3 days later, I received some Instagram messages from a young lady with some screenshots that she and my husband had been sleeping together. So I confronted him about the text messages and told him that we would talk about it later because my family was still here for the wedding, at which time he decided to leave. He just didn't want to be there. So as he was leaving me, I took the phone back from him.
How long after marriage?
3 days after the big wedding, the text messages came in.
Who paid for the wedding?
My mother, who's here with me
A
today.
big wedding?
Yes, 200 people.
Go ahead.
When he left, he emptied our bank account. So all the money that we got from the wedding he took, and he left me with $16. And that was actually my birthday when he left. So I sucked it up, whatever. Eventually he said he wanted to still work on it, and I tried because marriage was important to me. That's how I was raised, you know, so it was my husband. I wanted to still try. So I went to go be with him in Atlanta, which is where he left me. But I did not know that at the time he left me and was staying with an ex-girlfriend. So I followed him to Atlanta, and where this comes in, that his credit was bad. He couldn't get anything in his name, not even utilities. So my mother and I got the apartment. She's really the guarantor. During that time, he had some tattoos on his arm that said Jared and Jamal. His name is Brian. So I had asked him before what those names were. He said his godsons. Then later in the conversation, he said his ex-girlfriend's sons' names, but not his children. Then later in another conversation, I said, for all I know, those are your kids. And his response was, well, for all you know, they could be. So I don't know if this young lady who he left me for, which is the mother of those boys.
And you say your mother had to put it in her name.
Yes, and my name. My name and her name, not him.
So he was a liar, cheater, and broke. So you can't be all three. You ain't have any money either?
And may I just say something?
Go ahead.
Before we ended up going to Atlanta to even get the apartment, the agreement that my mom blessed us with was to live in New York for a year, rent-free, and save our money so that we wouldn't go there broke. So he put us in an unnecessary debt because she had offered us to live in New York for free to save money so that we wouldn't have to struggle when we went, because neither of us had children. We had an opportunity to get ourselves together before we left. And he just left.
Okay. Sir, let me hear from you.
Well, like she said, we met. I was an Uber driver. I dropped off her friend. She came outside, and I liked what I saw. You know, she was short. She had this small dress on, wild hair. You know, she looked good. She looked yummy. So I took the opportunity to, try to get at her. So she invited me in for a drink. I took it, of course. I came in. I took the drink. Like she said, they were celebrating her brother's birthday. And after that, our relationship just kind of took off. You know, one thing led to another. When in August, like she said, the young lady that I messed around with did end up sending her the text messages, and we had got into an argument that day. It was her birthday, and I didn't like the argument. I didn't like the way it was going, so I left. I came back to Atlanta shortly after. We did agree to work on our marriage and get back together and try to work things out. And at this time, I was working 2 jobs. I was working at a hotel. I even was doing security on the weekend as a bouncer. So I was working.
Yes.
May I say something? First of all, he should have been working 2 jobs and more because you took all the wedding money and left me with $16. You also forced me to relocate.
What do you mean, the wedding gift money?
Yes, all the money, because we had a joint account, because I was all Holy Ghost, no separating money thing. He took all the money and left me with $16 on my birthday.
It wasn't the wedding money.
Yes, it was. We had one account. What are you talking about?
It was my money.
It was our money. We had a wedding. He had no person at the wedding. Sorry.
So you saying no one gave money gifts?
People gave money gifts from our wedding.
You said there was no wedding money.
It was my money.
I'm not hurt.
From the account.
Don't lie to me.
I'm not lying,
These little
sir.
weak lies. You just said there was no wedding money. Then when I turned to say there was no wedding money, there was wedding money. And then you act like she did something wrong. I didn't like the way the argument was going. So you took the wedding money, skipped town after you got busted within a week of marriage. You the
And may I
worst.
just say something?
Yes.
We only had one account. So everything you took was ours. Even if he had money in there, we had one bank account.
When did all this happen, ma'am?
This all happened in August of, would this be 2017? 2017.
Okay, so when you all got back together, how long did that last?
We got back together, I'm gonna say like the next month. He was begging and pleading, sending me teddy bears
17,
or whatever, and I agreed. So in September, this is what's crazy, we went back. We were looking for housing. While we were looking for a house, we were in attempted carjacking. And they put the gun in the back of my head, in the back of the car. I screamed to him to drive. He drove. They shot up our car, 2 drivers. So you know that we just went through a traumatic experience together. You would just leave me right after that, because then in November, we went to Thanksgiving together and he left early. When I got home, I said to him, babe, I left my iPad at my mom's, I need to go back and get it. He said, use my phone and call your mother and tell her that you're coming back for your iPad. When I open the phone, it's text messages like, my wife is a lazy bee. I work 2 jobs. She don't even do nothing. I only stayed with her because I thought she was pregnant. All this stuff. I'm like, why would you ask me back to repeat? Yes, you did. Anyway, he said this to this young lady who's supposed to be his best friend, which is also his ex-girlfriend, about me. So I didn't go home to my mother's house because I didn't want her to see me like this, where she stays in Atlanta. I didn't want her to see me, so I just stayed. The next morning, he was like, oh, let me buy you a new phone. It was all peaches and whatever the next day. So I didn't let him buy me the phone because I felt like I don't want all these apology gifts, all the time. You knew I needed the phone before this. That December, he was going through some things with trying to find his birth father and some other things, and it just seemed like it was always something. So when everything was going wrong, there was a time for me to talk to him because I was like, oh, he's going through this or he's going through that. His whole personality just changed, and I don't know if I have the text on me, but he started saying he's hearing voices and being aggressive. I had to take him.
There you go.
Yeah, all this whatever.
Right. I knew something was wrong.
So then...
No real man do that.
And
steal
then,
the wedding money from his wife and leave her broken. Skip
and then
town
say all that about
within
me.
a week after he did something wrong.
And he took my mother and my aunts to breakfast to apologize to them.
You don't have any compassion? If the man told you he was hearing voices,
I actually
and he did all this.
I took him to the hospital, actually, because I was worried. And when I got to the hospital,
I apologize.
He actually denied it at the hospital, but then I showed her the text that he had sent me from work saying, I could have hurt you last night. So in December, I was working this job, and I was still very overwhelmed because I wasn't understanding what's going on with him. I go to Berean in Atlanta, and we have counseling there for free, professional counseling. So I said, let's go to counseling. Let's do something.
No, he needed medicine. Go ahead, though.
So he agreed to go to one session. He kept making excuses. He never got the help. One day he texted me while I was at work and was like, something about, I'm gonna give you my half of the rent. Like out of nowhere. And I was like, what's going on? Which wasn't supposed to be half, because he told my mother, she don't even have to work. I'm gonna take care of her. I'm sorry I messed up. But whatever, he said half. My response, yes, you did. But you told me I could go to school. Anyway, my response was, are you leaving tonight or something? When I got home from work at midnight, everything was gone. When I opened the closet, everything was gone, except 2 Bibles and a wedding ring. That was it. And I'm like, you're a coward that every time you leave me when you don't have to look in my face and tell me I'm leaving you. And after that, I still tried. Like, we talked a couple times. I didn't let him back in because I don't want this back and forth. You either with me or you're not with me. And all I asked for was for him to get help.
So did you all pursue divorce?
Yes, we did. We talked about it a lot later, because between that we kept trying. He kept trying. He kept coming to my job with flowers and we, whatever. But he never did the one thing I asked, which was to
because
get
you
help.
all are still married, and so those are joint marital property. Even the rent is a joint debt, and I can't separate those. That has to be done by a divorce judge. They divide the assets and the debts and determine who pays what. So you have to wait until then. On the other hand, with the emotional distress, a spouse can be awarded if it is that extreme. Typically, physical assaults. Most judges will allow for emotional distress because that is extreme and extraordinary behavior that would cause emotional distress. Having your mother pay for a wedding, 3 days later, abandons the marriage, takes the wedding money, then leaves you again without notice. All of that is extreme behavior, and as such, I am going to give you $2,000 for emotional distress, but you have to go to the divorce court and get the balance regarding the rent, all right?
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
$2,000.
I want to take care of her. I don't want her to have to work. I want her to do what she wants to do in terms of her career, her profession. And I heard that with my own ears.
I never said any of that, but I just wish them the best of luck. That's all.
Plaintiff DeMarco Duncan dated the defendant, but he says she was expensive and constantly wanted to eat out. DeMarco claims they ultimately broke up because she was unhappy with her Valentine's Day gift, and he's suing her for an unpaid loan. Defendant Marie Adams believes when you're in a relationship, a man should treat his woman like a queen, and she expected nothing less from DeMarco. Marie insists the money from DeMarco was a gift.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, well, I met Miss Adams in June of 2016 at my sister's wedding. I was on the floor and I was doing my dance moves, and so I caught her looking at the
With
side.
your hair laid, your hair look really nice.
Appreciate you. I am a barber, so.
Okay.
So after about a month of texting and calling, she actually returned my call, and we hit it off immediately. So as time progressed, which was about maybe 2 months in, I had noticed that she liked to eat out a lot. And I was a single guy, and I believe in, you know, taking care of the woman, so I would pay for us to go out to eat. It never stopped during the whole duration of the relationship. I was 175 pounds chiseled at the time. I'm 230 pounds.
When did you all break up?
So around Valentine's Day of this year,
Oh, okay.
I had been promising her a trip. She likes to take trips, so fine. So I've been promising her this trip to Mexico. I'm in the shop 6 days a week. I do have a 12-year-old. So I take that into account as well. Well, the credit card that I was going to use went towards eating out at these restaurants. I thought, you know, she would cook a little. I actually have a stove. So her excuse was she didn't know how to use a gas stove, so okay. I let her go with that.
What reasons did you all break up? What happened?
February, this was on Valentine's Day, oddly enough. I laid it out. I got off work early. I had the rose petals and candles and everything, and I had got her something nice to wear. I'm big into shoes, so I had got her a pair of shoes. So she comes in and she sees everything, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is beautiful," and she says, "Where are the turtles?" So ever since then, it was rocky, so we just chose to go our separate ways.
Let me hear from you about the relationship, ma'am.
You're supposed to take care of your queen. I deserve
thought I
breakfast, lunch, dinner, desserts, snacks, appetizers. Really? I asked him would he be able to cook for me instead of going out all the time.
Okay. Did you cook for him anytime?
I cooked for him a couple of times.
You made reference to he's supposed to take care of his queen. Those are values that were emphasized in earlier days and believed in. After the women's movement, many prefer to live a life that is more balanced between the male and female, meaning treat each other pretty much the same. The old way also meant that the woman did all the cooking and the cleaning. So you can't have it both ways. If you want to be taken care of financially, then take care of it in that laundry room and in that kitchen. Now you still want that? Old-fashioned ways?
Yeah, if he
All
can
right, well
contribute.
get in that laundry room and in that kitchen.
I agree. No objection.
Once you cooked a few meals, what would you do to take
Oh,
care
I
of
can
him
think of
in
other
exchange?
I can think of other ways.
Tell me.
You really want me to say
Yeah.
it? As far as in the bedroom?
In the bedroom, oh, that you would do that to be taken care of? That's prostitution.
No,
That is. When you
it's
say
not.
taking care of you, you're referring to financially taking care of you
Not
or
if you're
using his money. And in exchange for the money he spends on you, you say what you give him is something in the bed. That's what prostitutes do.
Oh, no, not if we're in a
Yes, yes, they
relationship.
do.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's exactly how that goes. Now, if you want to pretty it up, fine. Pretty it up, make yourself feel better, particularly if you're not married. And so I advise you either to marry him, then you can do all that. He can be your provider, and if he doesn't, then you divorce him and get half. Or you, or cook more often, if that's what you say you should do. I'm standing up for other women who want you to know and the rest of the world to know that things have changed with women. Women are in the workplace, they're not dependent on a man anymore. They want to be able to leave that man when he acts a fool. In the past, women depended on a man. In the past, a woman depended totally on a man. She got whooped on and still had to stay. She got cheated on and still had to stay because she had no options. So.
Okay.
All right.
Got you.
I want you to have some options. What she owed this $500 for?
Okay, so back in November of 2018, her vehicle had went down. So within a week later, we found out what it was, and it was a little over $500. She did tell me she would pay me back in installments 2 weeks after the car got situated. So 2 weeks came along, and there was no payment. She would say, hey, you know, Sally Mae's due. Or, hey, you know what, we should go out to eat today.
Why are you lying?
So,
Unusual thing.
I'm not lying at all. So we would do that because I was trying to be a good boyfriend.
Ma'am, what do you say?
We were in a relationship. And
You weren't married, though. Go ahead.
still in a relationship, committed relationship.
And now you're being sued for money.
It was a gift.
And if you were married, this could not happen. If you were married, if things broke up, you'll get half. Because in this case, you had all these ideas of being dependent on him, and not only is he not giving you things, he's suing you.
Yeah.
That's even worse. Do you have any evidence?
I don't. I did not want to draw up anything because at the time.
Why do you think he's doing this then?
You know what? We were in this committed relationship, and I supported him with his barbering school, taking him to and from going home into school. So I figured the car is just as much as his as mine, so I just figured this was a gift. I didn't think I had to pay it back, and we didn't have
We
no
just
agreement.
leave it at your
And you
house.
never
We didn't have
discussed-
it at no
Both of
agreement
ours,
that we were going to pay it.
house. Sure.
Okay.
She took you back and forth to work in it?
She sure did. I will not lie about that, Your Honor.
And you forget to tell him about them $200 Jordans you always buying every 2 weeks.
Well, I buy them for myself.
You know how expensive them shoes are.
Yep, $200.
So what that got to do with you? Did you buy them?
No, but yeah.
So you're not paying me because I buy shoes.
Hey, the car is just as much as yours as it was mine, so.
Y'all even argue like a married couple.
I tried to put a ring on it, Your Honor, but you know that's what I got.
You tried?
I tried.
He proposed to you?
He sure did.
You refused?
I didn't.
Huh?
I didn't. I didn't refuse.
I didn't know she had an eating habit, Your Honor. I'm just sorry. I put it
He
out there.
proposed. He proposed and you didn't give him an answer?
I sure did give him an answer.
What did you say?
I said yes.
She said yes.
She said yes.
Yeah, again, that's why I keep this Bible right here. Get your names right, because this is going to be legal. Miss Adams, do you agree to take Mr. Duncan as your lawfully wedded husband? Rich or poor? Or rich or richer? Which one? Nobody answering. Y'all didn't want to get married. Y'all just thought, I'm ready to marry y'all.
Your Honor, if she would agree, I would marry her.
She said yes. All right.
But I still would like my 500. sorry.
And until you're married, it's his stuff and your stuff, and this is his stuff. $500 for the plaintiff. I'll see you all soon.
We're gonna try to make it work. We're gonna try to move towards something if she allows. When she pays the judgment, of course.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll take him back. He's gonna get the installments though. So.
Plaintiff Kyle Tompkins has 2 children with the defendant, but he claims she cheated on him multiple times. Kyle claims he was forced to call the police on the defendant because she was abusive, and he's suing her today for rent and interest. Defendant Christina Thomas insists Kyle was the abusive one, and she only cheated on him 1 time, and that was only after she found his online dating profile. Christina is countersuing for emotional distress.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Me and Christina were together for 9 years. In that 9 years, we had 2 kids. First, everything was great. She was the love of my life. She decided that she didn't know how to keep her pants on. So,
So meaning more than one?
Yes, in 2012, after my son was born, she accidentally left her email open. And I went through it and I saw everything, and there was 3 different guys that she was talking to and sending dirty pictures to and back and forth. And, of course, I just lost it. I was real upset, love my life. We split up for about a month and a half, and we decided that we'll get back together for the sake of my son. Everything was great. We had another child. When my daughter was born, that's when things started going south again. I kind of had that gut feeling again that she was cheating. She would come home late. We both got in arguments all the time. There was good, there was bad. She was abusive.
In what way?
She would, if we got in an argument, I would try to leave, and she would hold me against the wall and won't let me leave. The cops came out, nothing ever happened, but they had to come out. She was abusive that way, verbally.
So the infidelities you discovered were confined to those 3?
The last one was in 2016 Christmas. I found that she was speaking to a man that she's actually living with now. That's after we signed the lease and everything.
When did you all break up?
It was, we signed the lease, and then we just we both mutually went our separate ways.
That was when?
That was in 2016, December.
All right, let me hear from you.
First of all, he is absolutely lying. He was abusive to me. I was never allowed to have friends. I had 2 friends, and it was only 7.5, maybe 8 years that we were together. And then not only that.
What would he say to prevent it?
I'm sorry?
How would he prevent you from having friends?
He monitored my phone. He had an app on my phone, GPS tracker.
We both had an app.
I was not allowed to go anywhere with anyone except his mom. I cheated on him 1 time, and that was because he had a Plenty of Fish account and was already messing around. I called the police. That's why they had to come out. He would break things and then make me beg for forgiveness. He turned everything around to make me look like I'm the one who did something wrong.
You just don't come across like that.
Your Honor.
How did I abuse him?
I believe him over you, to be quite frank. I believe you had him up against that wall.
I have where she got arrested for assault on me. And that's what's in 2016.
I know. I've been around. I know who's who and what's what.
I also have those records, and I also have the dismissal for those as well.
You've been jumping on the man or not?
Your Honor, I have not.
Huh?
I have not.
What do you have there in your hand?
I have the arrest records and
His
also,
arrest. Give me his arrest record.
and the dismissals.
I never got arrested, Your Honor. That
Jim,
was
she says she's handing me your arrest record. This is you.
Yes. And the dismissal.
How many pages you got
Assault.
there?
Domestic trespass. Simple assault.
Those were
Wonder the man in
the
here
false
shaking. Simple
accusations
assault.
of him. Your Honor, he is an alcoholic.
Well,
He's,
show me some records on him.
he's
Your
dating
Honor.
his brother's wife.
Your Honor.
Show me some violent records.
Your Honor, if you're with her, you would drink too. She's crazy. She is crazy.
Don't put me in it. What about these 3 men? You didn't say anything about that.
Because it's not true.
He's making that up.
Yes, he constantly, that's why I wasn't allowed to hang out with anybody but his mom.
Your Honor, one of them men were my brother,
You're sleeping with his wife.
ex-wife.
His wife. They are married. He is sleeping with his brother's wife.
She was sending pictures to my brother.
I never slept with his brother.
Y'all nasty.
Your Honor,
To each his own, but
I never slept with his
y'all ain't
brother.
gonna come out right. I'm
They
telling you
didn't
that.
sleep together.
Go ahead, what?
I never slept with his brother at all.
They sent dirty pictures together. I don't
my
know if they
God.
did or not.
Did you?
No, we didn't.
He's making that up?
Yes, all he wants is to try and win this case.
You'd want to have the record.
Because he lied.
Why did they believe him?
Your
They
Honor,
didn't.
Yes,
That's
they
why
did.
no, the cops came out to the house and they said they did not believe him, that he had to
Ma'am,
go and file
ma'am.
a restraining
They
order or
don't
whatever
charge
it was.
you. They don't dismiss something that you haven't been charged with.
Your Honor, she gator clawed me.
They don't charge you at all. They take a look. They go and question the other person
No.
or do whatever, and then they say, no charges.
No, they
no
don't.
dismissal. Because,
In-
oh, they don't?
No, he can
Okay,
go
I'm
and
sorry.
he
I didn't
can
know
go
how the
full-
law went. Thank you for telling me that they don't do it like that. Go ahead, let's get to this. She taught me a little law. Thank you. $4,620 for unpaid rent. How does she owe you for rent?
She owes me because, like I said, she left. We signed this house together. I couldn't afford it by myself. She decided to move in with this man that I don't know with my 2 kids, and I just feel like she's got to pay it. She used that in 2017 on Labor Day weekend. I was going to get the kids, or I had the kids. She decided to come and break in the house, and she says, my name's on the lease.
No, I didn't.
She
You were
called the
supposed to
magistrate.
give me the kids back Sunday. Friday to Sunday was
Sir?
your day.
She did sign a lease.
Yes.
Let me see the lease.
And I decided not to move in, and I
Tell
told
me why.
him because he was abusive, he became an alcoholic. The night I left,
Oh, you didn't know any of that before you signed the lease?
I did, and he was supposed
Okay,
to
so
get
don't
sober.
use that as an excuse.
He
What's
was
the other
supposed to
reason?
get sober because the night I left, he grabbed our son out of my arms and put him in the car, and I had my daughter in our arms, and he tried to back up the truck and hit us.
She jumped
And then
in
he
front of the
left
truck, Your Honor.
drinking and driving.
That's not true,
And
Your
I
Honor.
called DSS, and they were looking for him.
You have that?
No, Your Honor, I do
Do
not.
you have anything about him trying to run you over with a truck?
No, Your Honor, I do not.
Okay. And you didn't?
No, she tried to jump out in front of the truck, and this is not the first
You're
time.
backing up. How could I jump out in front of the truck?
And so when did you tell him what did you say to him when you said you're
I
not
told
moving
him
in?
it was not working, that I just couldn't move in with him and continue doing the abuse, him being abusive.
However, you signed a lease with the history of all those 9 years of abuse. But suddenly, for some reason, that day, you decided that you're going to use that to get out of this lease.
No. He also had our son that night and
Why did
threatened.
she decide not to stay, in your opinion?
Because she got caught. She got caught cheating again, and she knew
When?
this was.
Around that time?
Yes, it was after the lease signing.
I never cheated
Did
on.
he allege after the lease signing that you were cheating? After you signed the document?
Yeah, he accused me, but
That's
he
what I'm
always
saying.
accused me.
All right. And
You're
so how did
living
that
with the
play
guy.
out?
And I
Quiet,
also-
sir. How did it play out when he accused you?
I told him it wasn't true, and I told him that I just don't think we were going to work out, and I did not want to sign the lease with him.
You had already signed it.
No, before we signed the lease, I told him I didn't want to. He had our
Sir,
son.
Did you accuse her after the lease or
No, no.
Yes.
We signed the lease. We
Right.
put the deposit down on the house a month prior.
Right.
Okay. We signed
Then
the
you
lease.
called her how long after?
2 days later. I
Now,
called
is
her.
that true or not?
No.
Did he accuse you 2 days after signing
He
it?
accused me constantly, before,
I'm not
after,
asking
everything.
constantly. I'm asking for a very specific time. And
Yes.
the police arrested you. They did.
Because
They
he
didn't just
lied.
accuse you. They arrested you.
Because
so let's stop
he
with this back
lied.
and forth.
He went to the magistrate and got a warrant for my
And they
arrest.
believed him.
But
Why-
anybody
he
can
probably
do that.
didn't show up in court. That's probably why it was
No,
dismissed.
he was there.
What happened?
I didn't. I dismissed the case because it was hard for us to see the kids, and
I did go to
felt-
jail. I went to jail for 3 days and also
and that's how you
miscarried
got
my
out.
baby.
Is because he let you out. Your counterclaim for emotional distress, ma'am. How does he owe you?
Because of the constant abuse and this right now, him lying.
Okay, I don't believe that he's abused you. My evidence shows that you've been charged 3 times. He says the only reason you weren't convicted because he let you off based on the credibility and the testimony. I'm throwing your case out because I don't believe you. I'm granting you your judgment because I believe everything you've said. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Plaintiff Rhea Brown started dating the defendant in high school, and they have 2 children together. Rhea claims she and the defendant broke up because he was unfaithful, and she's suing because she claims he's over $6,000 behind in child support. Defendant D'Angelo Owens says Rhea is extremely violent, and she not only stabbed him, but she also attacked him when she was 7 months pregnant. D'Angelo's countersuing because he claims Rhea threatened him and is constantly keeping his children from him.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Me and D'Angelo was dating in high school. I got pregnant my senior year at the age of 18 with my first son. We have 2 kids together. While dating, I allowed D'Angelo to stay with me. He disrespected me by allowing women to pick him up and drop him off at my home. He would also text women with my cell phone and other household members' phones,
Saying
different
what?
women, cheating. He was cheating.
What type of things was he saying?
When out, can I see you, that type of stuff, you look good. Different things as far as cheating.
All right.
And pretty much I got tired of that. We ended it, but we continued to date on and off. 2012, I got pregnant with my second son. D'Angelo's a thief. He would steal from a homeless guy if he sees something he wants. He have stolen jewelry, money, other items from me and my family. No, he just steals.
Just a klepto.
Yeah, just steals. He also stole it from his mother. During the time that we was broken up, my mom, even though he stole it from us, my mom allowed him to stay with us because he was homeless.
How you know he's not a dope fiend? Homeless and stealing everything that's not nailed down means dope fiend.
I'm not sure
Crackhead,
if
something.
I'm not sure if he
Let
was
me hear from
smoking.
you, sir. You want
yes,
to
sir.
give me some background and then address her allegations?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Before we start nailing stuff down in here.
I admit, Judge, I cheated. I done did a lot of things. In the past. I did a lot. But it doesn't justify. She's a violent person. Very violent. There's been times where.
You don't want to address this stealing?
Yeah, I mean,
She made
yes, sir.
you look really
Yes.
bad on that.
I did, sir. This was me. Okay, we'll get into a fight. She'll fight me. Instead of me hitting her back, I will take something.
That's not true.
That's what I would do. Instead of putting my hands on her, I would take some. She fought me all the time. I got stabbed.
That's not true.
I didn't.
Why?
I didn't got stabbed. She did
By
fought me.
her?
Yes. Fought. I'm gonna tell you one incident.
Not true.
I'm downstairs in the bathroom. She comes in the bathroom like a bang. She come in, turns into the young Floyd Mayweather, just get to punch me in my face. I had a bruise. I had
That's
a
a lie.
black eye. Her sister came
That's
and
a
broke it
lie.
up. She was 7 months pregnant.
That's a lie. I did fight him. No bruises.
Her sister broke it up.
You attacked him?
While she was pregnant, sir.
As far as, I hit
7 months
her.
pregnant.
Go ahead.
7 months pregnant. And it's getting worse. Last year, she threatened to stab me. She even turned her mother against me. Her mother did almost raise me, basically.
Why is all this happening?
She's controlling, so if it's not her way, it's the highway.
Not true.
She say these.
What about this stealing? Do you steal or not?
Yes, sir. I told you. I stole from. Yes, sir.
Not just her. She said you steal from your mother.
She's a lie.
You steal from everybody who you see. You'll go in my pocket if I give you a chance. That's what she said.
I wouldn't do that to you, Judge. I wouldn't do that to you.
He has.
You have been arrested or
not for stealing.
Convicted for stealing?
No, sir. No, sir.
All right. No, sir. Now, child support. Tell me how much he owes, and do you have a court order showing the balance?
He
or
owes
child support.
He owes
order?
$6,500.
$6,500.
$6,506.34.
Over the course of how many years?
He's been ordered to pay since 2011. His payment is only $180 a month for 2 kids. And he failed to pay anything. He feels as if he's not obligated to do anything besides pay child support, and he's not paying that.
What else do you think he's obligated to do?
To help provide for the kids.
That's what I do.
That's child support.
I mean, as 180, he can help out here and there, and then as far as
you need to go tell the judge that.
I do.
What the judge say to that?
Well, right now it's
judge say no, keep that 180 because the judge has determined what it takes for him to provide for those children. You don't determine that.
The order
you
is
appeal
old.
it. Pardon me?
The order is maybe 5 years old, and right now he's not.
That's my question.
Okay, yeah,
Did you
I
go
haven't.
back to the
No,
judge?
I haven't been back
You say,
as far.
Judge, this isn't enough.
When I go back, I go just for enforcement. I haven't been back to raise the amount.
Okay, well then that's what you need to go for if you don't believe the judge has ordered him to pay enough. Now, sounds like you're saying he hasn't paid whatever the judge has ordered.
Yeah.
Sir, what do you say to your child support payments?
Sir,
what is your work record? Have you been working steadily?
On and off, Your Honor. But
why? Why on and off?
I'm a felon, so certain jobs I can get, certain jobs I can't. But
now I'm a felon
not
too.
Excuse.
So what is that?
It's not
There's a lot of felons out here getting jobs.
It's not an excuse, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
It's not an excuse.
All right.
Just because I don't pay the agency directly, don't mean I don't support my kids. I pay from school needs.
That's a lie.
To sports activities, to birthday parties. I work at a shoe store, Your Honor, so they stay fresh. You know what I'm saying? She can call me anything she want to call me bad boyfriend, but don't call me a deadbeat, Your Honor.
The problem you have is what I tell a lot of young men. I've been saying that since I've been on the bench here, and that is you pay through the court, or you pay directly the amount by check or money order that the court has ordered. Because otherwise, you pay thinking that you're paying enough. You could give her over $180 a month in monies and in kind or whatever it is you say you're doing. You could give more than $180. And you get to court, and she's saying, Your Honor, he hasn't given me any child support. And there's an order for $180, and you say, well, Your Honor, I've given her over $300 a month. And I've done this for the kids. I've done that for the kids. You have receipts for those, sir?
No, so I don't have any.
That's fine. And the judge is going to say, well, you get no credit.
You're right.
So, yes, sir, and young men and young women who are watching, you better pay through the court or pay according to the court order, because that's what she's showing me, a balance of $6,506 that goes back, obviously, to the child's birth. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you didn't give him credit for anything since the children were born?
Well, when we went to court, the payment was $0 because he wasn't working.
When was that?
It was.
What year?
That's lies. It was never $0, Your Honor. Never $0.
What year?
Child support started in 2011. Okay. And at that time, he was cooperating with the courts, showing them that he wasn't working. They was having him come in and do the employment, like log in.
Yeah.
And they made it $0. And then once he got a job, they pushed it up to 50. And then shortly, maybe a year after that, they made it 80 for one child and then 100 for my youngest.
Okay. And since that order, that's my question, has he been paying consistently or at all?
Well, like I said before, I went to court to enforce it. And then when I was going to court, every time we went to court, the judge would order him to bring money to court. That's the only reason he paid was when we was going to court. Other than that, no
So
payment.
I wasn't paying Rhea?
All right.
No, you
and
wasn't.
sir, your counterclaim for $2,500. How does she owe you for harassment?
Sir, this woman is She'd have had her family come to my house. She'd have had her friends come
That's
to my
a
job.
lie.
Her mom's telling me that she gonna shoot me in
That's
the head.
a
I got
lie.
police reports. I got she's a violent person, y'all. Like I said,
A lie.
All I've heard
scared.
is what you said her mother and others are going to do. What has she said she's going to
Stab
do?
me. She was gonna stab me in the heart.
She threatened to stab you?
Yes, sir.
You have that?
Yes, sir.
Did you go to the police?
Yes, sir. All the time, sir.
All the time?
Your Honor, she keeps the
happened
kids
one
away
time.
from me. Your Honor, she
That's a
keeps
lie.
the kids away from me.
So
That's a
you
lie.
go for custody. Do you keep the kids from him,
No,
ma'am?
Your Honor. When
I got-
when
look,
I tell
Your
you this
Honor.
man been in and out of
He
their
will not
life.
see my kids again. Like this has happened. She keep the
As
kids
far
away from
as
me.
that, have you acted
Months.
on that? That's
Months.
a lie.
You
Months,
just said
Your
you never did it, ma'am.
She's a liar.
If I can,
He will not see my kids again.
Months,
And
Your Honor.
I don't play that,
I
man.
didn't cry.
Judgment for the defendant with regard to the harassment. No, excuse me. I don't play that denying access to the children
I did
because of
not.
you all's little games. I'm looking
No.
right at it,
Judge,
ma'am.
Your Honor,
I
I
just
have
read
proof.
it. I just read it, ma'am. That's the proof. That's the only proof I need. $2,500 for her denying, even threatening to deny, and threatening to stab you, and admitting already that you attacked him. You admitted earlier that you hit him first. Your child support is granted, but your harassment is as well. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Now you know I have never kept them away from you. When? When? You a dead beat. You don't even see them.
Cut it out.
You've been 2 years
Cut it out.
without them.
Y'all seen that she controlling and she couldn't get her way and you see how she act. Period. That's how she been through the whole relationship.
That's a lie.
It's the truth. You just showed out in the courtroom. Cut it out.
Anyways, that's
She controlling.
a lie.
Period.
This man been in and out of their life.
Or you been
since
keeping away from
birth.
me. Or you been keeping away from me. Which one is it?
Never.
Which one is it?
Have you ever
I got
called me and
evidence. I just
told
showed
me?
him evidence.
You showed him
I
a
just showed him
text message
evidence.
saying what I was gonna say. But
Cut it
you
out.
kidnapped my kids.
I kidnapped the kids.
You kidnapped my kids, and you
don't even
know you
sound right.
kidnapped
You
them.
don't even sound
So
right.
you didn't keep them the day I told you to send my kids home.
That's kidnapping?
Yes.
Right.
I didn't know where you stayed at. You didn't answer no phone calls.